Hey guys, so I finally made my rank list. I finally decided which program's gonna go first, which are at the bottom, what the order is, and this has been such a crazy, stressful process, and I'm so happy that it's certified, and for now, at least, it's done. So with that being said, please like and subscribe, and I hope that you guys like this video of this real raw footage of me formulating this rank list. It's been a long time coming. This shit is so stressful. It's not fun. This isn't fun anymore. It used to be fun. Interviews used to be fun. I'd be like, oh my God, program wants me. Yay! Now let's go learn about them, add them to my list, see how I feel about each program. And I used to love taking notes. But now I'm at the point where I have to start this freaking rank list order. And I know I'm like early on, like I don't have to be right this minute. But I am neurotic, so I'm trying to do it now. And it's stressful. I'm writing like so many lists and trying to consider everything that's important to me. I made a master spreadsheet that enumerates all the things that are important to me and then talks about each program and how they fall into the categories of the things that are important to help me cross them off my list or put them on my list, higher or lower. There's all these like tactics you're supposed to try that are supposed to help you with ranking. But people say to keep in mind, the most important factors, which should be the training and should be getting out of it a career that you want to have. So I found this program that I freaking love. I love the location. I love the resources. It has amazing cardiology fellowship match. I love the people. I just feel like I can't handle the schedule. And I'm going to be living that schedule for 3 years of my life. So it's like, I need to take that into consideration, because if I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to be crying because I'm exhausted and because I feel like there's no way out, that's not good for mental health. There's another program that's like has a much better schedule and it has a lot of other life balancing things, even in the most intense times, that I feel like I can handle. But I think that sometimes the education part of it is a bit lacking, and then you just feel like you're there as a workhorse and you're not there as a resident who's learning still how to be a good doctor. It's really hectic. Hey guys, so I just finished hanging out with my friends and talking about rank list. This never gets easier. It's very frustrating. So interestingly, talking to those two of my friends really helped a little. Kind of, I don't know. I have a whole nother thought process now. So so they're both telling me that they're considering leaving the state as their first choice, which is good to know because it helps me when I'm considering leaving the state to be like, oh, well, my friends aren't going to be in this state anyways because they're also going to different states. They were kind of just telling me you need to do you and make the decision based off what's right for you. Like, now what? I'm just going to do me and consider my life by myself, basically. I don't know. It's weird to think about. When I'm with my friends, I'm like, yeah, that's easy. I'm going to just do me and I'm going to make the decision just by myself based off myself. But when I'm home or when I'm literally by myself, I don't... Oh! You scared the fucking shit out of me. You scared the shit out of me. So anyways, but yeah, when I'm by myself and I consider going somewhere where I'm going to be alone, that's much more scary. And it's just something I have to wrap my head around. Now I'm rethinking my entire rank list. And then we were also talking about reputable things, reputable programs, names, big name institutions. And I think that that's valid too. This doesn't get easier. Now I have a whole nother permutation of a list going on in my head, and I'm gonna have to weigh that one next. Y'all, I just had the best meeting with a female cardiologist who is like literally, she's me in a few years. Like, she is who I want to be in my life. And I told her all the programs I'm considering for residency. And I was like, from a cardiology standpoint, like trying to get into cardiology fellowship, what is the best? Like, what do I do? And she literally gave me advice. Like, she didn't just say, it's up to you, it's your decision. Like, all these other people who give advice give such fucking cop-outs. She was like, okay, so from a cardiology standpoint, here's good, here's good, here's good. This is better than this. If I were you, I would do this. And it's like, of course, I still have control of the decision and I can move things around and change it from what she said, you know, if I want to. But I was just like, if you take into account, here's what I desire, here's what I care about, here is, you know, me wanting to do cardiology too. Like, what's better? What's worse? Where should I put this? Would you put this above that? Because here's what I want to do, but is it a good decision? And she'd be like, yes, it's a good decision. Or I would do this instead because of this reason. And it was the best, most helpful discussion ever. I'm so grateful that she took the time to meet with me, and I just feel so much more calm because I'm like, okay, I kind of have an idea of what I'm going to do, and everything is going to be okay. Even if I don't get my top choice, even if I end up moving to a whole nother state, everything will be okay because at least I could go in with a list that I did for a really good reason. I'm just really happy I had to share that. And that's all I have to say. Okay, bye. I mean, I got along really, really well with the people at Program 1. Right? Like, during my interview, I was joking, I was laughing, I was happy, and I felt comfortable talking to them. I felt appreciated for being there. And when I was going to start up Program 2, away rotation, and it wasn't super intense with the expectations on me, but I still remember feeling like sometimes frustrated, I guess, with being there.
I could hear you inside. I'm sure.
You're not the best at responding, though. So, anyways, I don't like that they were sneaky and didn't tell us about the schedule. That's weird, that during the interview day they didn't mention the schedule. So then when we go to Program 2, I did feel like the work that the interns were doing wasn't crazy. Like, I could handle it. And I felt like, I noticed that some of the interns were complaining that, like, the nurses weren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is a red flag because you don't want to work in a place where you have to then do your work and the nurses' work too, you know?
Yes.
One of the, like, attendings that I had, he didn't really teach, which was great for me because I got dismissed early. But as a resident going to residency, I think that you want time where you're getting taught, and I think that you want time where you're being pushed to feel more confident in your skills as a doctor. And I don't think that particular attending did that with these residents. And I felt that they felt frustrated that there wasn't any teaching going on. Meanwhile, we had other attendings who did teach a little bit more during rounds, and that was a little bit better. Versus at P1, I'm sure that there's always going to be teaching going on all the time, and I like that. Really looking at me because you're not listening to what I'm saying at all. What did I just say? What did I just say? Don't laugh. There's also the fact that when you're working in the city and you're spending so many hours indoors, that's fine when it's winter time, but it sucks when it's summertime because summertime in New York City is so short. So when I'm stuck inside the hospital all day and all I want to do is go outside, I will be, you know, crying internally that I don't get to enjoy the sun and I don't get to be outside. That is something. Also, a lot of New York City hospitals, a lot of them only have like cement rooms that have no windows. In Program 1, they also said that the resident rooms don't all have windows because the patient rooms all have windows. So it's like, the only difference is that going there, it's like I don't feel like I'm running out of time in the summer because it's going to be summer longer than it's going to be summer here. I like that they have the city accessible. I like that their people are young and that they like to go and do things together. In P1, in a smaller program, like, just who am I going to have to make friends with, you know? At P2, I know that I'm going to have a lot of people to make new friends. So when trying to decide on my first choice, I spoke to a few other people. One of them was a mentor that I have from my medical school, whose opinion I value so much. And she told me to focus on my programs and think about them in the overarching context of my life. Not just how do these programs compare on paper with resources and with education and with fellowship match, but with how is my life going to fit into the context of that place for 3 years and potentially more, depending on how much training I choose to go for. That was really helpful, though it was hard at this point in my life to think about where am I going to be in 10 years and what am I going to want out of life in 10 years. And then I also had a meeting with the doctor now who was a student at my medical school, and she's in residency, and she told me some things that I should consider, such as, is the patient population a group that I want to care for and a community that I want to care for? And she also told me to consider like my gut feeling. How do I feel when I consider these programs? All of this advice was extremely helpful in helping to make this list and solidify my decisions, especially for my first choice selection. And now at the end of the day, it's not even up to me. Now I have to wait for the algorithm and for match day. So stay tuned and hopefully we'll have some really, really great results from that. I visited all of the places that are on my rank list, and I'm happy with the order that it's in. Granted, of course, it can still change, at least until March 2nd, 2022. But I don't think it's going to, and I feel really confident in this decision. So now my list is in, and my list is certified, and it feels so good. And finally, my rank list is certified. And it's official!